Welcome, welcome to Coffee with Kass. I've been doing these awesome Zooms and lives for a while, and this month of August, with the heat and the coolness, depending on what hemisphere you're in, I'm with some wonderful friends. And today I'm with the amazing Dr. Glenna Rice. Oh my goodness. And we've been friends for years, over 10. We'll just leave it at that, right? and and I've hosted her so many times in Italy, and we've co-hosted one another, co-facilitated around the world, and on radio shows, and conversations are always amazing. How you doing, Dr. Rice?
I'm fabulous. I'm so happy to be doing this with you. We have created so much together over the years, and it's just fun to see your face on Zoom since we can't see each other live yet, but soon. Soon, I hope.
Yes.
Soon, yeah.
We're looking forward to. I haven't been to an EMT, energetic manual therapy. It's a really amazing approach to bodies that Dr. Glenna has come up with. It's an access specialty class, and I've done several of them and use them in treatments with bodies. And we're talking today about bodies changing tracks. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yes,
is...
you are wonderful at that skill. I get a session from you any day.
So what is, with accessconsciousness.com, in case you don't know about it, but we talk about 13 changing tracks, which I love the number 13. It's the bodies are changing tracks, the world has changed tracks, and is it still changing tracks? What does that mean to you?
Wow. Well, we were on some path going somewhere, and we got off that train track, and we're on another one going somewhere greater, different, more fabulous, with more possibilities is what it feels like to me. And for bodies, I'm noticing there's a bit of resistance to what this is, and a huge desire to be on this track with bodies. But it's different than what we've been doing. Bodies are louder, they're changing quicker, and that change can be a little strange. That's what I've been noticing in my private sessions and some of the tiny little classes I get to do with our lockdown.
That's so light when you say they're louder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because we hear them. We hear them in different ways they speak. I love when we're co-facilitating. You're like, Cass, come on over here. What are you hearing? What are you hearing? And we're both hearing in different ways. But they're speaking louder in general. Is that what you're getting?
Yeah, they're louder, and they're kind of demanding that we listen more intently. We can't dismiss them. We can't dismiss them the way. I mean, if they've got something going on that they want to change, or there's something they want to facilitate, or there's somewhere they want to show you this new track we're going on, they're going to be a little louder. So I've seen some discomfort until people got, oh, this is that changing tracks things. Oh, that's actually pretty amazing. I'm going. Okay. And then the body goes, shoo, she got it.
She got it. She's listening, right? And she love that we're always asking for more connection with our body, and then we get it, and we're like, ah, I've got an issue here. Is it an issue, or is your body communicating, and you're finally listening to the language with it? But do you get that the bodies are also beyond our cognitive awareness? The bodies are also assisting with the shift of tracks that the planet's going through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, did they demand this shift of tracks too? What do they know about what's possible?
It's like, okay, guys, it's the body's like, okay, guys, we were waiting for you and your being and your spirit and your mind, but it doesn't seem like it was going to be working. So let us take the lead a little bit here.
Yeah, are you seeing that? What are you seeing? What are you noticing?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, just on this dimensional level, right? I've been working with my body so much. I've been playing tennis. I've been exercising. I've been eating well. I've been we've been playing together and engaging in conversation, and just there's no filter, you know. So, and I always look at that like there is the micro and the macro levels of it, but that is like with me and my body having fun, and it's getting younger. At least that's what the That's what it's getting younger. And, I'm living here in Europe, so they're doing, kilos and stuff and centimeters and that kind of thing, which, always sounds interesting. I just did the other day the conversion. I was like, 20 pounds.
Ooh,
woo.
20 pounds. Stand up.
I know, right? Oh, it's just like 9 kilos. And I was like, 20 pounds, how's it get any better? And it's not, stopping enjoying my lovely food here in Italy and stuff. It's really about changing tracks. Yeah.
Well, there's been something about the lockdowns that we've had, the stay-at-home orders. I know it's been different in different countries, and you guys are out of a lot of that. But the peace there was that the busy life I had for years, like the last 10 years, doing body classes around the world and traveling all the time, which I loved every minute of it, enjoyed. But there was this peace. There was this missing piece of peace that I didn't even notice I was missing. And I've been as busy and as creative, and my money flows haven't decreased, but there's been this time to be with my body. Like you're saying, you've exercised more. I was being able to take this online ballet class that I had been neglecting, something my body loves, and then doing it every morning because there was no planes to catch. And my body changed. Like the strength that got back was like, oh yeah, I'll give you, we'll be even better than we were 10 years ago. You let me have this right now. And that's part of that changing tracks. Bodies are changing, like the ask we have. Like the ask we have for them, what we are asking.
She said, like the ask we have.
Like the ask we had, or we're gonna have, like those asks. The question.
The K at the end. I thought it was like this. I was like, how do you know? But can I tell you that I'm swimming a lot too? And you're always with me when I swim. Not just in the water, but when I swim. Because remember, I think we were in Australia when you were, for those of you who don't know, Glenna used to be a professional swimmer, like an, Olympic swimmer, and, in high school and afterwards. And so that every time I move my arms, keep your arms closer to your ears, Kass. Keep your arms closer as you stroke them. So you're with me when I swim. You're with me and my body.
And your body loves it, I can tell.
It does. And I did get better. You haven't seen it in a while. So when we are together, we'll go swimming together and I'll show you what a contribution your swimming techniques and
yes,
your swimming coaching, right? People think, oh, she's a physical therapist and she's does the EMT and she did the SE and the 3-day body class, but she also can help you with the swimming and the dancing, which we do often together. Yeah. So many ways that your body's moving. Is your body dancing these days?
Yes, it has been in the morning. And more than it's been able to in a long time. That's when it's been that's part of this changing tracks, is it's also, there's a kindness and with bodies that's more available, and honoring of them.
Yeah. So you were saying, I mean, bodies are changing tracks. Sometimes people are not aware of that. Sometimes people are in resistance to that. And so please, if you have any questions about that, but anyone listening, and if you're getting it translated, you can ask on your translation chat. Just this conversation, I hope that people are getting the various ways that you can acknowledge, right, your body, and in a sort of gentle, fun sort of conversation with your body. How can you become more aware of that change in tracks and have more ease with it, or activate it if it's not, you know what I mean? If you're like, oh no, I didn't want to go to track number 5, body. I was wondering about track number 10. Which track?
Yes, is it okay to ask a question?
Sure. Did you see the cat? The cat walk behind her?
Yes.
Isn't that cool?
Hello,
kitty. The kitties always do that. And that, please, the animals, the birds and cats so much are always, when you are connecting and vibrating in a different way, the cats always show up. Yeah.
My new baby. We got 2 new little kittens they were born right at the beginning of the whole lockdown in March. And my daughters brought them home. So 2 beautiful babies.
Yes. Your question, darling. Yes.
So I love dancing, like all my life. Dancing is a thing for me. I don't do running, I do dancing. So before
I don't do running either. I gotta say, I don't do running either.
So yeah, I like walking, especially if it's in nature. It's fun. So one of the things, like before lockdown, I was doing yoga a lot. My body loved it, but there was something that wasn't completely compatible with my body in yoga, and I just did several of those, tried different ones, and like I stopped that. So what I do now, I actually dance contact improvisation. I love that. It's like amazing. But I sense that like I would like to do more, like at least another class of dancing, of movement. And I can't put my finger what it is, because I'm searching for that like for the last half a year. Like, and I do not know how, like, what is the best way to access this information from my body?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, ask your body. Have your body find it, not from your head, but from, give your body permission to find the dancing that it would like to do. Without a conclusion, it may just be one class. It's not something you have to even continue. Sometimes bodies that don't like to run for one day for 5 minutes, and that changes everything in them. Or they like to go swimming for one day. It doesn't have to be a routine. Bodies are okay with routines, but they're really more spontaneous than we really let them be. They change all the time. So try out classes. You don't have to continue with them if it doesn't work. You could leave 5 minutes in a class. No one's going to shoot you for stuff like that. The instructor might look at you, why did she leave? But you have that freedom. So you can play around with it. And the ones that feel like to your body that kind of bring that joy to it. And then ask, okay, body, if we choose this class, what's that going to create for us in this year, in this week, in 10 years, in 100 years? What's it going to create if we choose the class? But really ask the question with your body's awareness as the focus, because it's the one that's going to be doing the dance class.
Did you get that? Your body's awareness. I love the way you said that. The energy.
Got that.
Your body's awareness, like not just this part of your body. But also, it's funny you mentioned yoga, right? And I hadn't done yoga in years, and I'm at this tennis club, and they have a yoga lesson on Mondays and on Fridays, and so it's people who haven't really done yoga, most of them ever. So it's a different kind of yoga. It's a lot of stretching, and then she'll say something, like some wisdom from yoga. But so maybe there is something, if you like yoga, maybe there's something that's softer, or maybe your body would like to teach some yoga. Makes you laugh.
What I perceive also, it's actually not the exercise itself, which is less important to my body. It's kind of the energies it will do the exercise, like we will move with, not exercise, will move with. Like that's why I love doing the contact improvisation and moving to the different group next year, because my body chooses different energies. So it's like kind of finding another going with the energy, which I didn't think about before.
Yeah, and doing it, can I just say this? Doing it outside is so different.
Yeah.
You can never do it barefoot or anything, right? Glenn laughing.
Totally.
I was doing I don't know why, on Zoom with a trainer in a closed room. And then one day I took the phone outside and did the Zoom outside. And the sun was, shining on me, and the birds were chirping, and the grass was there. And I was like, wow, this is so much easier. Thank you, body. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Some steps I can help you. There's some stuff in the chat. Do you see that, Dana?
I just peeked at it. I didn't see questions.
Yeah. What if I loved to do roller skating, but when I bought one now, I did not use it?
So, well, maybe that was enough for your body. It was just having those roller skates in the house again. And when could you use it? Wake up every morning. Body, do you want to roller skate today? Yes or no? If it says yes, put them on. If you have a place to do it, roller skate in your kitchen a little bit. I was terrible at roller skating, but it always was fun.
Yeah.
I could never do those cool moves.
Yeah, and they have these monopaths, you know, that maybe there's other wheels your body would like to be on. Um, but also you know, I bought a pair of shoes once and I asked the access questions. If I buy you, will you make me money? And the shoes said yes. And they were never comfortable to put on. I wore them like only like the first part of the morning in classes. But I always got a yes to bring them with me in the suitcase. And then one day I talked to them and I was like, okay, what's up, shoes? And they were like, look, you asked us if you buy us, we make you money. Are you making more money? Yes. Okay. Don't bring us out onto the street walking. Just bring us to a place and have put us in the window, let us have a view. You don't have to wear us. So maybe your roller skates just want to be at your house, you know? What do you get?
Someone's laughing. Lucky
She's
shoes.
laughing.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes shoes just want to look pretty on your feet, but not walk around.
Absolutely. That was like about 10 years ago or 8 years ago. Now they actually work. They can wear them.
It wasn't the time.
Wasn't the time. And this
They
thing
need
about
to-
the changing tracks is so about the timing. I love those elephants behind you, darling.
Oh, aren't those cool? I have all these pictures my mom made. She did a little series for my kids. I have 3 kids that are now older, but when they were little, she asked them their favorite animal and their favorite color. So she made a green zebra for my son and a pink elephants for my daughter. And then my other daughter got, you can see that she got turquoise unicorns.
Wow. I talk so often about your youngest daughter and when we were in Dublin and she was walking and ahead of us so much. I tell that story all the time.
I love how you tell that story.
And also on what light and heavy when she was like, I get that. Who does this belong to? But it doesn't really work. You know, or is it mine? What's light? What's heavy? So yeah, great kids. And what a gift now the kids are to this track change, you know, that's going on with bodies. I mean, how much, you know, this, we're not calling people he or she anymore.
Yes. Yeah, I messed that up when my daughter's friends. It's they, not her, but she looks her. She looks very her. And whenever my daughter says, well, they went there, they're coming over, I'm like, who's coming over? Who else is coming over besides Ezra?
Right. And that's a way you can call them the names, right? Their name. But also how much does the he or she, the definition of the sex, actually keep bodies on one track without allowing them the freedom to change tracks?
If you buy into the definition, I mean, the pronoun, the L, A, all of these languages have.
Right. Louis Lay in Italian.
Even more than English. I mean, most of the languages around have much more gender-specific words than English. We use the instead of la and L.
Right. And we use friend instead of amica or amiga or amigo.
Right. Yeah. Your friends are gender neutral in English. It's how much you buy into it. You know, how much are you your name? Are you an infinite being with the name Kass in this lifetime, with a girl body that you chose in this lifetime? And are you an infinite being? And how many ways can you play with that? I think it's fabulous that the younger, not just younger, but people are being allowed to play with that, the gender fluidity, to be more male, to be more female, to be more of all of the possibilities you have available in any 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, I can be dressed up in high heel shoes, or I can be in my sweatpants, and I'm still this infinite being with amazing creations possible. And who am I playing, and how am I playing today? And who am I playing with?
And when do you put the pants on, and when do you put the skirt on, right? Yeah. And you know, we talk about the yin and the yang, right? So
Hmm.
we are all of that. And when we're willing actually to enjoy that, right? How easy is it to
Yeah.
change things? Yeah.
Yeah, these kittens, they're boy girl kittens, and they look exactly alike, and I can't tell them apart most of the time. And I know they morph their faces on me because I'll be sure that's the girl, and then I'll look at her again. I'm like, no, you look like the boy now, but it's still the girl. So the little differences they have in their faces, they will change them. They'll transform themselves to play with me. I think they think it's funny that I don't know who's who. But the yin and the yang energies, and then you try to put. It's funny because you try to put little characteristics, like, oh, he's this way because he's a boy. She's this way because she's a girl, and then they go, no, that's not actually it. Ha ha.
The definitions, right? The right, putting them in the box, you know,
Yeah.
putting ourselves in the box. I mean, even if you're on quarantine, if you're on lockdown, right? For me, it's the first time in over 20 years that I've been in Rome at home for 5 months in a row.
I would say the same thing in probably 15 years. It's the longest I have been in my house.
Yeah, and
And I've enjoyed it more than I ever imagined I would.
yeah, I got that too. And when we started, you know, it was on lockdown. We started talking. Okay, let's do it. So we were like, let's wait a minute. Let's, yeah. And what have you been able to explore in terms of this changing tracks thing with yourself, with your kids, with your clients, with your awareness? There you go. I love when you do that. Do that again. I love those eyes when they do that. I know. I feel it. I feel it. I love that.
What was the exploring part?
Yeah.
Like I was mentioning this ease, this peace, this like the energy that I have to do something to create anything, that I need to be doing. Like I looked at my schedule and there's no classes, and I usually have 10 classes up and coming over a year that are starting to pop into my schedule, and I can't, I'm not sure what's going where, and I can't rent venues in America, and I can't travel any other places, so nothing's being scheduled yet. That used to freak me out, and I'm like, oh, what's going to be created? With an awareness that there is a total future creation happening that will contribute to my future, and I'm going to be okay, and the money is going to show up, and the bodies are going to change. I guess it's the knowing that my future is going to work for me that's louder than it ever was. There's a franticness or something of like I have to do to create to make my life work, versus I have to be and ask and receive to make my life work. That's louder for me now.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I really am enjoying.
It's a louder silence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And is there, since I was a kid, this line, time is not linear, has always been pinging me. And did, Mr. COVID-19 affect the linearity of time?
What do you get? It feels
Eh?
light. It affected the linearity of a lot of stuff, I think, but time is, yeah.
Yeah.
Time is softer.
Yeah.
It's the reality of linear time feels softer, a little bit more pliable. You can kind of play with it differently.
Right.
Yeah, that badass virus, man.
It's quite different than I thought it would be. It's not like collapsing or leaping. It's just like not as relevant. Right?
It's like, it doesn't feel like time is running out. There's an energy that, you didn't have enough time for stuff. It's like, there's plenty of time.
How much does that affect, the body?
Well, that's a brilliant question. What do you know? Well, if time is running out, you have to really rush to get things accomplished before your time runs out. If that's not part of your reality anymore, there's not that push. It's like, how many things can you create? And how long will they go on into the future?
Yeah, it's not as much about obligation. It's more about choice. And that sometimes is not comfortable. Because it's quite easy to fulfill your responsibilities, do your tasks, right? And your obligations. But if you don't have that, then you actually have to choose.
Oh, that. Choice creates. Choice creates.
Yeah. And that can be a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just a bit.
Well, after a while of being a question and what we've done for years, the Access Consciousness tools and living our lives from the question and choice, uncomfortable starts to become kind of sexy. It's like, I don't avoid uncomfortable. I'm like, okay, now it's happening. This is not, it becomes an energy of what you've asked for is showing up, and more of the excitement of that change, the bubbling up before the volcano explodes. And it becomes sexy, not something you want to avoid. Like, I want more of that because I know my questions are working and what I'm asking for is starting to show up and the change I wanted is starting to show up. We have such judgment about things being uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's it's not even the visual, the perception. It's like the cells and the molecules moving in a different way, which actually keeps us not only alive, but lively.
Yeah, living.
Yeah.
We did get some questions.
Cool.
How do you communicate with objects? I don't perceive they answer back.
Do you have a particular object in mind?
They don't have mouths, so they can't answer that way.
My stuffed animal has a mouth.
Good. That's a good one. How do you talk to objects? You ask questions and feel what's light and heavy. I ask yes, no questions. If I buy you, will I make more money? Yes. No. And if I get a no, I don't buy it. If I get a yes, I buy it. That's adorable, Kass. What would you add to that?
I would say, what are you asking? Because everything has energy. Energy is in everything. So if you're asking a question to an object, I'm quite curious as to what the question is that you're asking. Usually when you don't get any response, it's because you have made it quite significant. So Truth, are you asking a question or are you demanding a response?
Yeah, looking for an answer. And she does say, I don't perceive the answer back.
Yeah, yeah. Because, and a lot of times, is it relevant? So it would be great to look at the questions that you're asking. You know, sometimes you ask your body questions, you know, hey body, would you like to read this book? And your body's like, I don't care if you read the book, just make sure I'm seated somewhere comfortable. So the question for the body, hey body, would you like to sit in this chair while we're reading this book or lie down? Then you get a response from the body. But if it's not relevant to the body, then it's not going to give you the response. Usually what I always say is that when you don't get any, it's really difficult not to get any response. So when you don't get any response, you can, if you use the tools of access, you can pock and pod any point of view that you have that doesn't allow you to perceive, know and receive the answer. I always say distract yourself. Like look at a stuffed animal and be like, oh, you're so cute, you're so cute. Truth, object, yes or no, you know? Once you get distracted and you go back, your mind's like, oh, wait a minute, wait for me. Let me catch up so I can stop and block the response energetically so you don't receive it, right? So if you can distract yourself with a joke or with dancing or with something and then go back and ask the question again. And then ask, are you missing some information? Is this relevant? I love Gary Douglas asked that question. It's truth, is it relevant?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you lose something and you ask it, where are you? Are you here? Are you in this room? Are you in another room? That's a lot of fun, talking to objects. Make yourself visible. Anything else in the chat?
Well, how do you know when you are in head? I think in your head, and when your body communicate. How do you know when you are in your head and when you're communicating with your body? Maybe that's what the sentence translates better into English. Well, your head, when you're in your head, the energy is really tiny. There's not a lot of space there. When you're actually communicating energetically with objects or your body, and you're not in your head, your yeses or nos or the awarenesses they give have a lot of space to them. When you're in your head, it's just like this big. That thinking energy, you all know what thinking is. You've been doing it your whole life. You're all great at it, I promise. You don't need to practice thinking. This is a new thing. Being aware of the languages of all energies is a new muscle you get to build. And there's a lightness to it that's just, it's different. Practicing it a lot will help you know.
Yeah.
You'll start to feel the difference. And once you feel the difference, it becomes more clear and more clear.
And you can just ask.
Yeah.
Is this a thought or is this an awareness? You know, it's just like Glenn is saying, it's just a lower, you know, we're diminishing our knowing, our awareness to a thought. But I love, Glenna, when we, I don't remember when, talk about that we don't throw the mind away, right? Because, you know, you've invested a lot in it. So what if you weren't in resistance to your thoughts? Thank your thoughts for coming up. Say, do you mind, honey? Mind? I'm just going to expand it a little bit to get a little bit of awareness too. But thank you so much, mind, for that thought, honey. You just take a little rest, mind. I'll be right back. And your mind's like, oh, then she's not judging me? Okay, I'll wait.
Yeah, I don't have to hold on. Yeah, and the thoughts, a lot of the thoughts you have aren't yours. Like 98% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions don't belong to you. So they can be very useful because you can have an awareness about what other people are thinking. And that can contribute to you.
Yeah.
Or you can put thoughts in people's heads and change things.
Say more, say more.
Well, you can put thoughts in other people's heads. And if they don't know that most of their thoughts, feelings, and emotions aren't yours, they're going to think it's their thoughts. So it can influence and change things. I was in an airplane and I so wanted the guy sitting next to me to open the window, and I didn't want to ask the person. And I like the windows often open when we take off or land. And he wasn't opening it. So I was just sitting there putting the thought in his head, I really should open up the window. I have to open up this window. I'm going to open up the window. Let me open up the window. I want to open up the window. And I just kept putting that thought out there in my head. I wasn't saying it out loud. And then a couple minutes later, he just reached over and opened up the window.
Now you notice how you said that, how she said that, right? She didn't say, oh, I wish he would open up the window. She was putting the thought in his head from his voice. I want to open the window. And he's like, why do I keep thinking I want to open the window?
So you can use this with your kids. I should do the dishes.
And you can use it on your partners too.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, since we're talking about bodies.
Do say more, Kass. Tell me more.
You can say, oh, wow, I really love his body or her body. I really would love to caress it. I really would love to honor it. I wonder what I could do. Massage his feet, massage her feet. Let's say it from their perspective.
Animals use this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
It's fun. Go ahead, Emden.
Yeah, no, animals use this. They put thoughts in your head. Like when my cat's outside, everybody knows. She sits out there and she tells us all, open the door. And there's three of us living here now. Four of us, me and my two daughters and my mother live with me. And one of us will get up and go to that door and there's the cat sitting right there. So she puts thoughts in our heads and we can hear them. But I had a girlfriend who had a cat that could not go outside. And no matter who visited the house, you would sit there around her kitchen table and you'd stand up and open the door. And you didn't even know why you were doing it. You would stand up, you'd open the door, and she'd go, stop, the cat's gonna get out. And you'd like, oh, okay, sorry, I don't know what I was doing. You sit back down, close the door, the cat doesn't get out. 10 minutes later, you'd be standing back up, opening the door, and she goes, my cat puts thoughts in your head to get out. And she does it to people all the time. You have to resist them.
These changing tracks in these times, with not so many people moving around, the animals have a completely different access, right, to even the streets, you know, and the and so many birds, different birds. I mean, totally communicating and picking up things in your bodies. And cats, I feel like they're in a 8th life or a 7th life or something. They're completely changed. I've got 5 cats. I don't own any of them. You know, my sister-in-law has 3 downstairs. The neighbor on the left has 1. The neighbor on the right, Jezede, you know him, has another. They all come into our yard.
Of course.
Hanging around.
Of course. They know where it's awesome.
And I was over at my friend's house the other night, and her cat came around, and she's like, this cat never comes around the first time they see someone. And I was like, I know. So how much can the animals assist in the shift?
I like that. Did they invite us to a track they've already been on? Or were they able to get there easier and are showing us ways of being with it with more ease? That's funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always know it. When somebody was asking, how do I know if it's an awareness or a thought? For me, the way that shows up when I'm acknowledging an awareness, or if someone says something hugely light, like Glenna just said, my breathing changes, I yawn, and sometimes my eyes get a little full of joyful tears. Yeah. It matches their energy. Yeah.
This is where awareness has it's more substantial than thoughts. Thoughts are more direct and maybe louder, but awareness is more substantial, and it encompasses more space than a thought does. Yeah. That's cool.
Shows up for everyone in a different way. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah, it does. Absolutely. And you'll know that for you, the more you use the questions and ask the questions, it'll become more clear for how it is with you. No, you were talking about birds. My brother is a photographer for the New York Post, and he works in New York City. And right when the lockdown and when they closed everything down, he was still driving around taking pictures for work. And I was asking him, so have you seen anything different with the animals or the air quality or anything? And he was like, yeah. He goes, you know what? The pigeons are not getting out of the road for the cars in Manhattan. He's driving down Manhattan, and there's pigeons all over the road, and they're just staying there. He's had to stop his car and yell at them and like demand or ask that they move so he can keep driving, which I thought was hilarious. That they're like, you're not that important anymore right now.
Here in Rome, the seagulls are not at the sea anymore. Those are the birds that are at the sea. They're not at the sea anymore. It's very interesting. And, you know, there was this choice of possibilities access class in Rome in January and of this year. And I asked 2 questions. One about politics, which I'm very excited about what's going on in the United States right now with Joe Biden and
Kamala Harris.
Please, everyone, get out and vote. And also about one of the things that Gary said about the voting, like how could I be an invitation for people to vote? And he said, make sure they know how to vote for themselves. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. You can't vote for someone else. Vote for you. And so that allows you to connect with you in a very different way. And I asked about the animals. Yeah. I asked about the animals in Australia because there was all those fires in Australia at the time, and so many animals had died. You know, And Simone Milasas was saying how something different had shown up. People were being kinder to one another. People were helping out at that time. And Gary Douglas said, what did they know about what was coming in the future? That was not that they didn't have the ability to resist or to persist with that future. And that was pre-COVID time.
Right.
Yeah. And, so when we're talking about this change in tracks, it's like, how much did they know? How much was that a contribution, first of all, the huge, you know what I mean? Transition, thousands and thousands of animals in Australia. And how much do we pick up on that? How much more space is that?
How much did everyone like on this call, how much did you know about what was coming before it came, about this? Like what was happening in your life? What was showing up that may have been an indicator that you had an awareness? And a whole universe rearranged where I lived 4 weeks before we went in lockdown, which I was resisting and asking questions, and none of it felt real calm and easy at the time. I lived in a home for 18 years and the landlord sold it. Well, put it up for sale, offered me a horrible price, which wasn't light at all, which is interesting because she just sold it, 9 months later or something, for much less, because the virus showed up and no one was buying homes for a while. But I ended up moving across the street to this beautiful home with a deck and a big living room, dining room area that I could have classes in. It's like the universe was arranging all these things. Consciousness was arranging all these things for what was showing up. So there was an creation for the future, of a future that I didn't have anything cognitive. I mean, who would have cognitive? Oh yeah, we're going to get this crazy virus. It's going to go all over the planet in 1 month and kill tons of people and lock you in your house. That wasn't the awareness. The awareness is we're shifting everything. It felt light. I followed everything that was light, and I end up in this beautiful new place that's contributed to me for the past 6 months to be able to continue with my business and have a beautiful deck to look at the world out of with an amazing view. So there was an awareness then of the future that was coming, though it wasn't cognitive. So how many of you had an awareness of the future that was coming? And how much did the universe contribute to you so you would have more ease with it?
A lot, a little, or megatons?
Right.
Yeah. I was so, I love being here. I love Rome. I love being here, and I love the nature. So I'm really grateful to have the garden. And when we couldn't go out, I used to go and walk, 400 steps back and forth in the garden with no shoes on the grass, Yeah. And how many, and I've got to tell you, my feet look different now that they're not in shoes all the time.
Did you do stairs? You got them stairs. Her house is amazing, but there's these stairs you have to go up to get to the where the houses are from the street level. You can do lots of stairs. You can run.
Oh yeah. How do you not do stairs? Yeah, 50 stairs before you get to the garden level. Yeah, and then once you do, it's the garden of secret
Garden of Eden. You were gonna say,
yes,
weren't you?
Yes,
Garden of Eden.
I was gonna say the Garden of Eden. I was looking for a nice name for the garden. I keep That's very responsive. It has not yet answered me. The garden of, the secret garden is what we called it. I had a 3-day body class in the garden.
I saw a picture. Well, you brought me on for a little video chat.
Oh yeah, right.
Wonderful.
You joined us to talk about EMT. So tell us a bit about you, my baby. What are you? Tell us a little bit about that EMT, if you will. Does somebody else have a question? Because I'd love to people how to find you, where to find you. Yeah.
Well, GlennaRice.com, drglennaRice.com is my website. You can find me there. Or
That's so tricky.
I know. My name. Unusual names are really helpful because no one else took that name. Oh, EMT, when is my next class? Where can I go? I would love to. I know people are asking, and not yet, and soon. It's feeling sooner. But I just had a small class in my house. And who knew Like, this is the other magic of this. Who knew there was all these people in the Bay Area, which has been kind of slow with access from back in the day when it was the big hot spot for people doing classes, that there was all these people choosing and wanting more. So I was able to do a class, and I'm going to do, it may be more advanced. You'll have had to take the beginning class, something online, like, you know, EMT solo or EMT in your home, just a self-treatment.
Nice.
For
maybe people who have done a couple of EMTs can also, you can do like stream parties or something like that, where they can actually walk through it. Yeah.
Yes, that's all.
People are asking about it. People are definitely asking about it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had moments where it's like, wow, it was kind of just starting to get big, and this happened. And there were moments I had like, what is this? Ah! And then I looked at the future, and it's still there. It's creating. It's very, that patience, the peace, the ease of the future and the creations is all there with the energetic manual therapy class. So I'll have to come to Italy and do it in your backyard.
Exactly.
In the Garden of Eden.
In the garden down, the Garden of Eden. Yeah.
That really sounds fun.
Yes. And so the next time that you are able to come to Europe, please do let me know, or I'll come visit you. And also, one of the things that is so amazing that you do with people is, I would call it this physical therapy stuff that you do that is so different. She was a physical therapist before, but then she met the tools of access consciousness and started really transforming the whole, what physical therapy is in terms of providing. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of that's what the EMT class grew out of, all the thousands of bodies I treated over the years in the classes, using the access tools. I started using the body processes and the questions right away as soon as I got them, and adding them into my practice, and it worked so much better. The results were incredible. A lot of the stuff I did before is just, I'll pull it out of my hat if it's required, but it's access sessions people get and create changes. And what's been exciting is it's starting to flitter out there around the world. I just did a talk with young leaders. It's something Access has started with, I guess, the Z generation, or the millennials are probably too old, but young leaders for the future. And they had me on a talk about science and medicine in the future. I think it was that. And there was 2 med students that were on the conversation. And one of them started talking. He'd been to my EMT class. He's been to body classes with me, and he's got the access tools. And he was talking about how he had to stitch up someone who had a really, really terrible motorcycle accident and had a terrible cut. It was really jagged and hard to stitch up. And he really wanted to give the guy a beautiful face and not have a massive scar. And he started stitching it, and then he asked the body to guide him with the stitches. And all the little bits and pieces, like a puzzle, went together, and you can barely see the scar at all. And that's a question, that's an access question. What would it take for the body to guide me with this, for the body to lead? So here's someone who's gonna be a medical doctor that's got access tools. So where this is going, I changed my practice, but the seeds are starting to be planted elsewhere. I don't know, I love that story. I was so excited hearing him talk about how he asked the body he was doing stitches on to guide how he did the stitches.
Yes, well, we have Dr. Nagaporwala on the line too, who's in Mumbai. She was just with a lot of people doing right, they were experiencing COVID, and and so really talking to the bodies and getting the bodies to give response is something she was inviting the other medical doctors to do. And how much is that actually helping change tracks? It's so interesting. Whenever I go to India, you were going to India a lot too, and so many medical doctors show up. There's like this holistic approach, right? Looking for a different way to integrate right? Traditional practice.
Yeah, they're looking for something greater. They really are looking for something greater. A lot of people would go into that field because they have such awareness of bodies, and the training doesn't really contribute to awareness for sure, any more than any of our training in this life and this reality ever did. Yeah, I'm seeing that in Japan. I've had quite a few doctors and dentists in classes in Japan and in South America. It's really exciting what's showing up.
And one of the things about these access tools, and especially these body tools, is it's so different than energy of any of the other things that approaches people have to bodies, because there's no answer, expected answer. So the freedom of your body, and that allows your body to change tracks in this period, right? So so what conclusions, what answers, what definitions, and what diagnosis have you given your body, or bought, right, as the end point instead of as the starting point?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, the diagnosis is an answer that will create. I mean, once you've got the answer, you start creating from it. It's crazy how I've had to there's so many people that I have to unwind from their diagnosis into something that's a possibility.
Yeah. And so one of the questions in the chat was, what about humanoids that are not aware of all the change going on?
Oops. Yeah. What else is possible for them?
Yeah. Is it true?
Yeah. Is it true? What are they aware of that they haven't acknowledged?
And how much are they using this distraction of COVID, right, to avoid a greater awareness? Yeah. And this is what's so amazing about this time, is that we actually do have the time and the space to access our consciousness. We can choose absolutely to fill up that time, to fill up that space with things to do, right? And things, to think about. But if we're willing, right, to almost be what we call bored or not sure of what we're doing, the universe will just have all those flowers blooming and showing up. I hope you get the energy of that. Yeah.
And you'll be able to see them.
Yeah. Because you won't. Normally, we're so busy moving that they're like, "Where are the flowers? Where are the flowers? Where are the flowers? Where are the flowers?" Well, if you step back for a second, take a look. You're walking on them. Yeah. Look, they're not even nice. They look dead. Well, you stepped on them. So what are the flowers of your life that you're stepping on? Instead of nurturing with your awareness. Yeah, somebody else wrote something. Do you guys also get that receiving with bodies has changed as well?
Well, I'm going to say, what do you know? Because what we know is what we know. But for me, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Receiving with bodies, for my body, it's changed. Listening to it more and having the piece I was talking allows me to receive more, or it to receive more without me stopping it. Because we're only not receiving because we're stopping it. Like, you're beautiful. Kass just so beautifully and eloquently just described that, exactly what that is. You can see the flowers. That's receiving.
You know what? Also, and it's so. I hope that this makes it so clear to you. If something comes into your mind, a thought, a person, it is a possibility for change, right? Call them. If it's somebody from your past, if it's somebody, there's something your body, and you know what, your mind, your brain is in your body, I'm just saying, that there's something that you can actually shift. Things are popping up for us, the flowers, right, I was talking about, but things are popping up for us so continuously you don't have to do it all. You don't have to, act upon it all. Call everyone that pops into your mind. However, if they popped into your mind, if something popped into your, what we call it, the mind, into your awareness, then probably you've popped into theirs. And that creation is non-linear. And what that opens up, the space and the relaxation that it opens up a lot of times in your body, that completion of a cycle, just creates a lot of change. So the windows of possibilities are opening up all over. And we choose. Are you in silence, baby? I can't hear you.
No, I just said very silently, quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Anybody else have anything? These coffees, they like. So did you get your coffee, honey? I didn't see you sipping it. Glenna, did you get your coffee? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just froze for a minute, I think. I have my coffee.
Okay, good. Yeah, these conversations with coffee are just like sitting down is a nice conversation. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And thank you so much. Yeah, me too. The energy is soft and caring and loving. Oh yeah, just like you. Yes. So, and if you're up this early next week, I'll be doing one with a lovely lady from Switzerland on significant or insignificant. Is that the question? Yeah.
That'll be good. Don't want to miss it.
Yeah, and the last one, just all the Wednesdays in August, and the last Wednesday is Are You Willing? It's about bodies, it's about souls, it's about infinite beings, and giving up the weight of the difference of that. So yeah, thank you.
Love what you're creating. Thank you for having me on. Thank you everyone who joined to listen.
Always, you're always welcome. And if you're around it's 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10. In 2.5 hours, I'm doing a free Zoom on Connect. It's a series I'm doing, Connect, Ignite, and Shine. So again, yeah, it's really cool. It's 13 days of videos starting from the 17th of August through the 31st with live Zooms. And so it'll be great. And it's in different languages, English, Italian, and Spanish. So come and join. So that's going in 2.5 hours.
You don't want to miss anything this lady creates.
Ciao, amore. And please give your daughter, the kisses for me. Okay?
I will.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Ciao.
Bye.